am going to a steak dinner, man. I'm ready to rock and roll. Just ready to get out there and chomp at the bit.
All smiles a year ago. Can he do it? Can he repeat and win the championship back-to-back? That is the goal of the 18 team and driver Kyle Busch as he makes his way back into the garage. Time running out on this final practice session. Under 30 minutes to go. Kyle currently 14th in this session. Marty.
And Rick, remember, they did start on the scuffed tires. Adam Stevens actually is the one who called Kyle Busch in. They were on a fairly long run there, and he said, it's just not working. The lap times are not there. We got to come in and work on this thing. Kyle said on the radio it didn't help like I had hoped it would help. Across the middle of the corner, car just felt like it was giving up grip quickly. He said you could just feel these tires giving up grip as well. So some work to do here on the 18 car if they want to get a little bit better. And I think comparing their lap times, you guys can see that a little bit better than I can. Probably a decent amount off that 19 and that 48 car as well.
Yeah, as we look longer into the run, the 18 stays consistent, but unfortunately they're consistently, man, I have a couple tenths, almost 3 tenths off the 48. So, you know, there is a little bit of variance perhaps if the 48 start on newer tires than the 18 a lap or two. But the speed I'm starting to see, I'm not sure that a few laps fresher tires would have been enough. That 48's really the question mark. They hit that debris, they came in, looked at the tires. That second run, very, very, very impressive.
Speaking of impressive, you have to look at the career of Tony Stewart as this will be his final race in the Sprint Cup Series. Future Hall of Famer, the Indiana native at the age of 45 will call it quits as far as this style of racing. He wants to continue dirt racing. 3 times he was able to reach the pinnacle of this sport, take the championship. Rookie of the Year when he came in 1999. Almost 50 career wins. Won his 49th win this year at Sonoma. There's an impressive statistic. Won at least 1 race in 15 straight seasons. Tony Stewart go back into the garage. They'll work on that car. Again, the final practice for Tony Stewart. And Jeff, you had mentioned earlier today the emotions will really more than likely hit him tomorrow. That it all comes to an end. Racing against the same people for a long time. He has been out on the racetrack competing against these guys for over 15 years. Rookie of the Year in 1999. So it's a long run that he has been on, and a very successful one. But it will all come to an end tomorrow.
I think that's what he's been doing for the last 16 years of his life, and these are the people you hang out with and spend a lot of time with. He's still going to be around. He's obviously part car owner in this team, and talks about how he's still going to be around and trying to have an influence on the team. And also he talked about trying to have an influence on NASCAR and the direction the sport was heading. So no doubt when he has an opinion, people will know it. That's how he's always been. I don't expect that to stop. But, you know, it is a completely different deal when you go from driving the race car to stepping out and somebody else gets in that car, and tomorrow when he realizes that he's not going to drive it. And then when they drop the green flag for the Daytona 500, he's going to be like, wait a minute, they can't have a race without me. You know, and it's amazing how the range of emotions you go through that first time you deal with that.
Mike Massaro.
And Jeff, as you said, he always spoke his mind, and he was asked about his legacy yesterday in the media center, and that's basically what he said. He said, look, I've always fought for what I believe in, and he's not ashamed of that one bit, actually very proud of it. He also talked about what this decision means for him, and he kind of downplayed it, saying, not much is going to change for me. I'm still going to be doing 90% of what I've always done. In other words, racing dirt cars, sprint cars, and things of that nature, and occasionally come to the Sprint Cup Series race. He said, and he drew an analogy, he said, I look at this like halftime of a ball game. The first half is already over, but I'm very much looking toward the second half, and he's going to enjoy that phase of his life very much. But obviously an emotional time for a lot of his fans and the people around him. I spoke with his father, who's here today, and will be here throughout the course of the weekend, taking it all in. And of course, Tony has said he's gotten many, many, many text messages from people he's known throughout the course of his career. He's tried to respond to all of them, but there has been one hiccup with those text messages. His cell phone, yeah, that was stolen earlier this week, so he's a little behind in returning some of those texts.
It will be emotional. He has been at the highest of emotions at this racetrack. In 2011, the battle between he and Carl Edwards ended with Tony Stewart winning the championship on a tiebreaker. They had the exact same number of points, but because of the 5 wins that Tony Stewart had to end the season, he was the 2011 champion.
Every 6 seconds, a dump